there.
Damn.
It says you are live.
All right, let's get it started. What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Hunter Grand, your personal agent for change, making life easy, Barzini.
And I'm fempreneur extraordinaire, tech diva all day, Dre Renee.
And this is still the crossroads where there's only
Child.
one rule.
Be free to be you and to make mistakes. It's okay.
It wasn't a
Be free
mistake,
to
it was just
forget
a
where you
pause.
are. Be free to just like, what's happening?
You know what? Because you're the tech diva extraordinaire, I know you got a million and one, so you probably forgot which live you doing
Right.
today.
I was just like,
Like, is this
deer in the
is this
headlights.
yeah, how's a 334?
Am I teaching? What am
Right. I was like, line.
I doing? It wasn't that much of a pause, was it?
Watch the playback.
Oh, okay. Well, it is what it is. Welcome to everybody. If you're joining us on Instagram, this is the backstage pass. So you get the bloopers, you get
The setup, the
all
green
that.
screens.
If you want the full blown experience, you can go over to our Facebook or YouTube pages by clicking the link in either of our bios and it will direct you there. But if you're on Facebook or YouTube, howdy.
Right. I'll take you there.
Hey. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
I did a little cameo on IG over the weekend. That seemed to have
Yes, I saw that.
gotten
I
some
saw
views.
that.
Shout out to
Mhm.
shout out to Drea and Tracy. You would actually
Yeah.
love their show. They actually on Saturdays. I don't even know what show they be reviewing, but they watch a reality TV show together and be talking about it. Like,
Oh shoot. Well, I'm trying to get Brittany. We're gonna start doing that on Twitter Spaces.
mhm.
So yeah, we're gonna revive our TV review situation with just the audio, which is really speaking my love language because I can do what I want to do.
My bad.
It's like, but
See the people that don't know the inside don't know that that was a shot.
it's like it's speaking my love language.
How you sub somebody to their face? Like, is that even a thing? Is that really a sub, or is that a shot? Is that just straight shade?
It's probably it wasn't shade. It's just that's just what it is. I don't think, my dear, you allow people to post things on your page.
I
So
don't. I
I
don't.
can share
Uh,
my posts. I can put,
mhm.
tag you in my post, but I can't post nothing on your
Yeah,
page,
I
dear.
might. Yeah, so if you tag me, I might have to go out on IG so I can post it on Facebook and then come back.
Child, look, he is doing the most. You can't send him.
But you know why I do that?
Why? Are people
Because
posting stuff on your page that you don't want seen?
yeah,
That must be what it is.
yes,
But can't
absolutely.
people do the same in your comments?
Yeah,
It's the
but
same thing.
I originally started doing it for my birthday because I hate for my page to get inundated and like all my posts get pushed down from like hundreds of oh happy birthday and shit like that.
Mm.
Like the
And I
takeover.
still
Oh,
haven't responded to. I haven't responded to everybody. I'm so sorry.
yeah, see.
Yeah.
So like I'll do like a birthday post, like something reflective shit like on this year, I'm just reflecting on all of the blessings. And really, I'm just saying, hey, y'all, it's my birthday, so just say
This
the shit
right.
here.
Comment here. Uh-huh.
Since you can't comment on my page anyway, and then I can just do one blanket and everyone will get the notification.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, everybody.
Smart.
Because my phone, I
So
would be
smart.
out on my birthday, and my phone would die
Uh-huh.
because
Too
all of
many
the yeah too many messages coming through, and you can't call nobody or you can't text because it's probably been shut down for like 10 years now.
yeah. I just
Yeah,
forgot until I was trying to tag you. I was like, oh
yeah,
boy.
yeah.
But that's
People
good
want
because we really want to push as many people as we can to our YouTube page. So no matter where you're watching us right now, we would love, love, love for you to actually go over to YouTube so that you can have the very best experience, but also so you can subscribe to our channel.
man. And that's the major thing. And also, while you there subscribing, tell a couple other motherfuckers to subscribe too.
Bing, 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 bing. Everybody
Cause
subscribe.
cause y'all all are motherfuckers.
So we were talking, and then I got into some technical stuff. So you were on someone's show this week, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And when I tuned in, you were answering a bunch of questions about yourself, and I was like, I know he's not about to let somebody hook him up after you were on this show saying you don't do no hookup. So I was like, what was happening?
Okay, so full disclosure, I had no idea about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Dre is cool, you know what I'm saying? She's got a podcast and everything else. And so she hit me and was like, you know, do you want to be on our show? And I was like, bet, you know, she was apologizing like it was like last minute. She meant to hit me up before, but I'm like, I'm not doing shit. I'm just chilling, you know. It's nothing. I'd love to be on. And so I asked, I was like, you know, is there any content that I need to prepare for? Or are we just going to be like going with the flow, like general conversation? And she was like, oh, you know, basically just going with the flow. So I get on there and it's like, yeah, ladies, if you want to ask about them, blah, blah. And I was like,
yeah, because the first question I saw was, is he in Houston? And I was like, well, I ain't gonna answer that because he probably don't want people to know where he is. And then you're like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh,
is that how I said it? But you know, okay, so you know, I don't be thinking when I'm on someone else's live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember the first time I went live with someone, it never dawned on me that I'm live from my page too.
Yeah.
On IG. So like my people are seeing this shit too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was like, and sometimes I still forget because I'm like, oh, I'm just on their feed. But you know, like
no, you was everywhere. You was all the way live.
I was in the
what
metaverse.
Kind of woman does Jason like? I was like, big booty. And then, and I think Dave was on there and was like, if you don't have a big ass, he ain't hollering. I was like,
yeah. And then her girl was like, little booties matter to like she was going in with it. I'm like, look, this dude's out there that like the little booty women too. It's something for everybody. Just happen to be a connoisseur of the more Zoftic asses.
Come on, SAT.
Hey, don't ask me to spell it though. Don't ask me to spell it. I used to know how to spell it.
Well, it's all good. It sounded good.
Hey, maybe we gotta have to do a show about these type of things.
Yeah, man.
I mean, not all my preferences, but just
preferences in general.
Yeah, I mean, shit, we can't do no show about our preferences. It's yours.
Oh yeah, it don't matter what mine are. Hey,
It better be everything.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I've talked about my past, what I like, what I went for, and how it was released. I was delivered from from such things. But just being so like it has to be like this, right? Like I don't think there's anything wrong with like likes or preferences or whatever. Like you see something that you like, you have a preference for it. But I do think we can potentially shoot ourselves in the foot by like that's all that especially outer traits, right? Like outer traits, and then the inside is a mess. Not to say that you can't get everything you want all together, but like you said on your post earlier earlier this week or last week, might have been end of last week. It's not that you can't get what you want, but it generally comes with kind of other things that you may not necessarily be with. And I was actually talking to a group of friends this weekend about the same thing. Like, a lot of us getting older, and we're not old, but a lot of people thought, hey, we'd be married late 20s, somewhere in the 30s. Now people are either approaching 40, at 40, or over 40 without what they thought they would have in terms of a family. And so then, fear starts to set in. If we're being spiritual about it, which we were at the time we were talking, about our relationship with God and our spirituality. And it was just like, well, does God not have this for me? Those types of things, start to kind of play with your brain. I was just sharing that, I'm sure I could have been at this juncture, not this particular one, but I could have been here earlier. But would I have been ready for it? Would I have been the person that I needed to be for everything that has come with
Mm-hmm.
it, right? In particular, these past few years, like going through the deployment, like that's not something I could have handled in my 20s,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe not in the beginning of the 30s. Like I was on my way out of the 30s when
Right.
that happened, right? Like what you're doing in your professional life. Do you have time to cultivate a relationship with somebody? Or are you
Mm-hmm.
just like, they got to get in where they fit in? Like a lot of times things are held up from us so that we can become who we need to be to really appreciate, but also be a good steward of the gift that we get. And I don't think
Mm-hmm.
people spend a lot of time really
Yeah.
thinking about that.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of self-reflection and introversion that happens. I was having a conversation with one of my staff at work about that. The counselor, he always like doing deep dives into my brain and trying to connect shit.
Mm,
But I mentioned like having not been in a relationship in a really long time. Like this will make um 8 years this year,
oh, wow.
right? That I've been in a relationship. And so it was like even dating, a lot of people consider that like a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like as if trauma or commitment issues or whatever are the only reasons not to jump in a relationship. And I was like, nah, like you have to remember, like, yeah, I went through those periods where it's like, well, for me at first it was freedom. Like I was like, I'm good, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then that went into like some grief stages when I lost my godmother. And then that same year, I was in grad school, and then I got a new job and I moved to a new state. And like just all these things are happening, and I'm not thinking about a relationship. I don't have time for it. Like I'm adjusting to a new state, a new career, basically. Just starting life over. And then I looked up one day and I was like, at the time it was like, dang, it's been 6 years since
Mm-hmm.
I had been in a committed relationship. Um, and so like time just flies when you're going through these different life changes. And so now a lot of people look at it like, so he was asking me like, do I have walls up? Am I being defensive and all this other stuff? And I was like, no, I'm just aware of what I decide in a relationship. And I was pretty much explaining like I've lived this existence to where and subscribe to that narrative that like as the man I was doing like all this pursuing and everything else, and I'm doing this and this, and I wasn't requiring any reciprocity in those beginning stages. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like as men we do this, and I'm not saying don't do, but if you don't require and prioritize what you need as well, then what you're doing is creating this cycle to where you're training her to just take,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you lie to yourself. Because I remember a couple of relationships ago where I was like, oh no, I don't need nothing. I'm just trying to make you happy, and I'm happy when you happy. And I
Mm-hmm.
and I believed it when I said it until that one day when I was just empty. And I
Mm.
and I told her I'm done. Like I ain't got nothing else for you. If you not putting back into this, I ain't got nothing else to give you. Especially I ain't getting no act right. And this is just me chasing her. Like we weren't even together yet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I was so far gone, I was on some ultimatum shit. Like, look, either we finna be together or we ain't finna be shit. Which
Damn.
wasn't fair,
Mm-hmm.
but she got the message.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought about it, and she's all crying because no, I love you. And blah. I'm like, oh, now you love me when a nigga. So that turned into, it's like we not necessarily being together, but we're working towards something. Now we talking. you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
And that was back when talking was still acceptable, y'all. So I know people on like, we ain't talking. So I think it's just a lot of it is learning you, knowing you, and you have to love yourself enough to put yourself in a situation to be loved.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Um, and it has to be mandatory. And that's not about the other person, like you got to do this, and this, but it's kind of like you're setting yourself up for failure by putting yourself in a situation with someone who was not equipped to fill you back up,
Mm-hmm.
to keep giving you the energy to keep giving to them. And you have some people that are just trained to take, you know, um, and that narrative is just like running rampant. Kind of like, so the meme that I sent you with the gas station meme,
Oh shoot.
right?
When was this?
Yeah.
This
So
I probably got to go back and review.
yeah, I remember what it said, but
Okay.
it
Thanks.
said, "Marry the man that'll meet
Oh
you
yeah, yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah,
gas
yeah.
station just to pump your gas."
That's silly.
That's fucking stupid to me.
Let's
I
just
even like me and my
let's just put
therapist,
that out there.
even me and my therapist was talking about it because we were just talking about like different narratives, stuff like that. But like the
That's dumb.
ladies was like, yeah, take note.
Yes, because it sounds good. Because what it's saying is, somebody that thinks of you, that will take care of you, that puts you first, all those things. But like that particular action for that particular reason is
It's
dumb.
fucking stupid. And they didn't see, and so, but what I dove into, it was like, ladies want, the shivering the night and shining. I get it, right? But I was like, there's so much of this that people really don't consider the men that they're asking this from. It's just like, you would if you care for me, you'll just do it. I'm like, but no, because I care about me too, right? And so at first I had just, laughed at, like, LOL did. And she was like, why you laughing? I was like, I just laugh at stuff like this. And so she said, was it too much? That's all I needed, right? Well, since you asked,
Hmm.
numero uno.
Oh Lord, not a list.
Oh yeah, you know me and my numerations. I'm gonna give your ass a list. This was short. This was only 3 bullet points.
Oh,
But I was like, number one, you're asking me to take off of work or stop wherever I'm doing, or I could just be relaxing, to then getting a car, burn gas to meet you at a gas station to do something for you that's not even remotely labor intensive. And that
it's
sounds
dumb.
logical to you. Then I was like, then I said, what was number 2? I don't even remember number 2 and 3 really, but I was just like,
That's enough.
right. But
Like
I'm
just
like,
that right there.
by the time I got there, you could have already pumped the gas and been on your way.
Right. You just sitting at the ladies.
Right.
We're just sitting at the gas station waiting for the
Mm-hmm.
man. Or well, it said meet you there. So I would have called you and like, hey, I'm on my way to the gas station. And then you perfectly time your arrival so that I don't have to wait. Because that's the part. I don't want to wait. So you have arrived. You're already standing outside of your car waiting for me to
And let me
choose
guess, I'm
what
gonna have to
pump.
pay for this shit too.
I'm
I'm
gonna
sure.
say to choose what pump to come pump, and then, like, yeah, ladies,
Right. So, but I
I
remember.
don't think I really don't think the women that are watching us.
What?
Ladies, look, no, your face
Oh,
said, "Are you sure?"
yeah. Cause look,
Ladies,
hey, some of the shit that they said that folks be co-signing be on some
hey,
other shit. I'm just saying.
hey.
Cause this is what I
Shots
said.
fired at y'all. He said that
I s-
y'all the ones co-signing
I
this
didn't.
meme.
I know. I said that they
You
were
dropped your
co-signing it. I
head,
did.
like,
I dropped the head because
oh, okay.
somebody might, I damn sure did that. You can't hide that. That's on tape. But I did say this though. I'm like, I would likely be pissed because it's a lack of consideration for the fact that if you knew you needed gas, why didn't you say that the night before where I could have taken it and made sure it was filled up for the day? Like, why are you out in the streets without enough gas? That's not safe. It's not responsible, and it's not considerate of my time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When I could have, like, I don't mind putting gas in your car, but set me like, chivalry is a two-way street. You see what I'm saying? And so don't ask of me, because like that shit is the equivalent of you stopping what you're doing and calling me like, hey, I'm at such and such. I'm about to go through this door. Wait, stop right there. Don't touch it. I'm on my way. The fuck? If you don't open that goddamn door and take your ass through.
And I think that is the bottom line. Like, there are things clearly that men and what people do for themselves, should be able to do for themselves, can do for themselves. But when we are together, then there are either assumed or accepted roles. But, you know, if you are by yourself, calling somebody to come do something that you are able-bodied and
Right.
you can do
That's
for
like,
yourself, that's a hot mess.
yeah,
That is
I'm
a
at
hot
home. I'm like, damn, babe, this food just showed up. You gonna come over here? You gonna run over here and fix this plate? Like, fuck out of here. You know how many different names, you know what I'm saying, a nigga that been called. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, but you know me, I'm hashtag same energy. But I think we get real ridiculous with these expectations. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then label people for their willingness to do it or not do it. Like, so when my therapist was kind of like, well, could it be that she's just asking for consideration? Like, you're asking for consideration. I'm like, that's not consideration. That's fucking stupid. No, because so certain things, like, what were you doing before you got with me? You was pumping your own fucking gas. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
But
now,
now I'm with you.
right. So let's not make it seem like this is some shit you can't do. It's just some shit you would prefer not to do that you're with someone. But my
Oh,
question would be,
yeah.
yeah,
Isn't it?
right. But my question would be for
Uh-huh.
the ladies that are watching, what are the things that a man could expect to not have to do when he's with you? You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
drop the answers if you got them, because again, for men, we can go down the list. We talking opening doors. We talking about pumping gas. We talking about taking out trash. We talking about lifting heavy shit, like,
Mhm.
killing the bugs, like all of this shit, paying for shit when we go out. Like, okay,
Yeah.
so
I mean, and it might be more domestic stuff. I mean, maybe it's, like laundry, it might be cooking, it might be, keeping out. And of course, these are things that you can do too, just like we can do the things that, we prefer not to do. But hopefully there's, so I can't speak for nobody else's relationship, but hopefully there are things that you can say like, I got this, because not as even necessarily because you're doing this, I do this, but even if that's the way that you set it up, like, everybody knows their role. I was talking to my mom about that, and she's just like, yeah, in relationships and marriages, and a lot of times, like, people say they want to be married, but they don't understand that everybody has a role. Like, you got a job, just like when you go to work. And if you don't want to play your position, then do you really want to
right,
be married? And it's
exactly,
not always, partnership, can look like equal partner. Like, I get to do whatever I want to do, and you can do whatever you want to do, and that's not marriage.
I mean,
So,
but it depends on who you ask. So if that works
well,
for them, yeah,
well, yes,
right,
but
yeah,
in the general sense, like, there needs to be conversations and agreement upon, who is going to do what, who takes care of what, who's not doing what, versus what I'm thinking of is like, I come in as an individual, and the things that I did or didn't do when I was by myself is the same thing I'm going to do or not do when I'm with you. And typically, that does not work. That might work for somebody. That doesn't generally work. Like, I'm just going to keep doing everything that I was doing or not doing. There's a process of, um, it's an ebb and flow.
right. But I
Having
think that,
you either
so
have a conversation outright, or you
right,
might just like, you're in the groove. I do this because I really want to do this, because I
right,
care about you. I don't want you pumping your gas. Like, there are some, it's not even necessarily an expectation that women have to have. I'll tell you, there's a plenty of times I went to pull out my wallet, grab my own door, pump my own, all those things, and got reprimanded.
right.
Like,
I mean,
ah!
Yeah, I get it and all. It's just like,
Okay, wait, we have a response on
mhm.
Instagram. I cook, manage the house, housekeeper, and kids' schedules, and probably the higher income earner. I bring peace and growth and the balance at home of femininity. Come on, sis.
That must be
There's a
kind of.
response.
She sound all poetic.
Well, she was sharing her truth, and it sounds
Oh,
good.
I'm not shitting on it at all. Go ahead with your bad self.
Yeah.
We
And
have one
also,
on
like I think you said in an episode before, we into the love languages episode, for those of you who want to go back and watch some of
Mhm.
our previously recorded
And also,
shows.
if you are on Instagram, I'm sorry, if y'all want to see the real experience again, IG is the behind the scenes. You can click the link in the bio and go to our YouTube where we're live right now, to get the actual show experience. So we encourage you to do that and make sure you subscribe. Okay, sorry about that.
I forgot.
You were referencing something I said in a previous episode.
Oh, it matters what the person wants from you, right? Like
Hmm.
you can be bringing a laundry list of stuff, but if it's not what that person wants or needs, then
Hmm.
it's not that it's not a bad thing, but your stuff is in addition to. It's like the cherry on top. It's not their actual ice cream,
Right.
if you
And
will.
and it begs the question though, to your earlier comment where you're saying like, if I have to do the same things when I'm with you that I was doing before you, like kind of like, why am I with you?
Hmm.
Then like the question would be, then what is a relationship? Right? Like what are we in relationships for? You know what I mean? Like, is it for what the other person does for us, or is it because of the other person? You know what I mean?
I
And
think
so,
it's both. It might be it's the other person to get there, but it's a mixture. It's the experience to stay there. And the experience is going to come from, yeah, the things that you do, how you make me feel, what I it should be mutual. Like,
mhm,
do I the things that I do for you, but how do I feel about doing these things for you?
right. So
Right?
like
Like I
first, so like the question would be like for you specifically,
Mhm. Oh
you
boy.
got this great man. So you and hashtag boo doing your thing, blah 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 blah. But he's like, hey, look, I love you. I do all this other stuff, but I don't carry water.
After
Like,
I already said I don't carry water,
no,
now that's
no,
petty.
because you was already carrying water. You just because your thing was, I don't want to carry water anymore. Like
Yes,
that was one of your
yes,
things. And he's like,
yes.
dang, I hear that, but I don't
Oh,
carry
he said,
water.
oh, he don't want to do it.
Like, yeah,
Oh,
I don't carry water. That's one of those things I don't do. Right. Just like for me, it's like when a woman was like, oh, well, he got to pay 100% of the bills. And I'm like, uh,
I guess
like,
I would want to know why.
what
I
if
mean, like,
he like, I just don't like that shit. I was like, you was
I
doing that shit
mean,
before.
then we just wouldn't be having no water. We have a Brita filter, and that's that. Like, it's not enough for us to not be together. Like,
Uh-huh.
he's too amazing for that. But I would just be like, well, if neither of
Right.
us want to
Okay.
do it, then
Okay.
I guess we
So
need to figure out something else.
what level of amazing does it get to where like your non-negotiables you start to negotiate? Like, because you've been adamant about this water for years, right? It's like,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
how I started the relationship. Like, so it was no curveballs. I was like, I don't really want to do trash. Like, I'm the oldest of girls, so
You was
it
already
wasn't
carrying
no.
shit.
Yeah, I was carrying, and I was like the tall. Like, I'm physically the tallest.
Hmm.
So then there were things like, you got to reach this, you got to carry this because the babies type situation, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is why I can empathize, if you will, with men who are like expected to just shoulder loads that maybe
Hmm.
you can't. We can't just assume because you're a man, you might not be strong enough to do certain things, right? But and
Or know how
my
to
parents
fix
didn't
a
make me do
car,
certain.
or yeah.
Yeah, but like, yeah, it wasn't like, oh, because you're a girl, you can't take out trash. It was
Hmm.
you the oldest, get this trash. So after, the years of that, and then as my parents got older, then it was just like, if I'm there, I'm doing things for them. And so now I'm in a relationship. I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to do that in my house.
Hmm.
Is that a problem? I did ask. because the conversation was like, I'm not the type like gender roles. I'll take it, right? Like if I need to be in the kitchen so that you can carry the heavy stuff, you open the doors, you carry the water, you take out the trash,
Why
whatever.
his list so much longer than you?
I I can do that. Well, being in the kitchen is not just being in the kitchen, but if I want me to name all the things, I mean, and it's not,
No,
but
I
that's
don't. I'm
a
just fucking with
relationship.
you.
It's not one to one all the time, and it's not the same thing all the time. Like in some seasons, one partner's role might be better. I mean, might be larger than other.
Right. I'm more like, again, you know how I feel about templates and shit, right? Now,
Mhm.
granted, there's certain things it's like I'm cool with. Okay, I specifically do this, you specifically do that, but some shit don't have to be like, oh, well, you're the guy, or well, you're the woman. Like, we just do this shit. Like, let's just flow. One of us is gonna cook. One of us is gonna take this fucking trash out. One of us is gonna drive wherever the fuck we going. Like,
Well, I think that is how the rest of it goes. But if you do have preferences, I think that's something that you should tell your partner out the gate and not expect them to know. So I didn't come with a laundry list. It was those two, it was those two things.
mhm,
Like, hey, I really don't. And it was just
right,
like that. Like, I really don't want to do the
right.
deep
But I
cleans
mean, but
anymore.
yeah, but people
But
come with
everything else you
lists.
kind of
Yeah,
fall into. Oh, you said people
you
come with
well,
lists.
yeah, because people, and I really want to do just another episode about like how much does social media drive the narrative of dating, because the things that we believe when it comes to dating, it creates these templates. It's like, oh, well, you're the guy, so you're supposed to do this, you have to do this, and you're the woman, so you have to do that. Or we ain't in the 50s, so I'm not doing that, we sharing this, but you have to still do it. Like, it's just all these fucking rules instead of, hey, here's some shit that needs to be done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do them. You say,
Right.
so if I just feel like we're constantly waiting for someone to go first, and getting with someone or dating, it's more about leverage than love, right?
Yeah.
And nobody wants to give up leverage. So as long as you have this person over here doing more then you have the leverage, right? It's like, it's, let me get in position to take more than I give, so that I'm not set up for disappointment or feel that I've wasted my time, energy, efforts, and resources doing for this person. And
Mm-hmm.
because the reality, love is a risk regardless of how amazing the person is.
Right.
The minute you say, here's my heart, it's a risk. I don't give a fuck how long you made them wait. I don't give a fuck how long they spent proving themselves worthy of the ascension to whatever point. It's still a risk. And
Right.
the reality is, you can fall in love and get your heart broken. But are you brave enough to pick it back up, dust it off, crazy glue that some bitch back together, and hand it to somebody else when the time is right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I think we take such a defensive posture in love. And I'm not saying that I'm absolved from this, but I think sometimes it just comes so seamless and natural to be defensive, and we always feel like we take the prize position, like, hey, I'm the prize, so this person has to be doing this if they want me, and if they not doing this, and if they not this, then they can't have me, as if we're just objectively desirable, and that's not reality, you
Yeah, see,
know.
your brothers said something that I believe
Mhm,
relationships shouldn't be 50-50. And I mean, I don't know about the should, but I just don't believe they are. I
mhm,
just don't believe they are. And anybody that's looking for a 50-50, they're always going to be um, disappointed or
mhm,
angry or whatever the case may be. Like there's a time, that, and, I know Teddy Pendergrass has the song, right? And, you're talking about a 50-50 love, but it don't
mhm,
operate like that. And that's the point, I believe, of actually being in a relationship. Because things like, some friendships or associations really require that kind of equal reciprocity, right? Like, well, you don't
mhm.
call me. Well, I don't call like we deal with that.
Right.
But in relationships,
I might have heard that a time or two.
there's a ongoing like understanding that like sometimes I'm gonna have to come a little further than my
Mhm.
50. And sometimes I'm not able to even get to the 50 and I need you to come closer to me. Like, I think that's the difference between, being in a relationship or being married and not, or being in
Mhm.
these, kind of other associations. So I
Mhm.
absolutely agree with
Yeah.
that. I agree with what you said too, but I saw his over
Yeah.
on Instagram. It definitely is not, child. It definitely is a risk.
Yeah.
It is a risk.
Yeah. So who's willing to take the risk? I mean, I'm willing to take the risk. I'm just not willing to take it with any motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Well, God bless the person you are willing to risk it with. I'm just, God bless. I don't.
damn, am I that bad?
You're not bad. You're not bad at all. It's just, I just feel like it's gonna have to be a strong soldier in the army of the Lord.
Go on and unpack it. Let's go. Let's go.
It's not go.
Let's.
No, I just do.
No, I'm saying be more detailed. You cracking the door open. I'm like,
That, that
go
is just.
go
I mean,
ahead.
I told you. I feel like you have a particular thought about what you want and what you want it to look like, and definitely what you don't want it to look like. And I just feel like that person is gonna have to, and they're gonna have to be able to show you, because also analytical. So it's not like, well, just wait and see. Like
Yeah, no,
they're
that's
gonna have to
never
come
good.
with that.
Yeah, nah, bitch.
They're gonna have to come with a relationship CV. Like, well, in my prior,
Yeah, yeah.
I provided this.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
But that's rough, though. I hope you really don't make somebody do that,
I
child.
need
I don't
3
know.
references. You
um,
gonna have a one-on-one interview and then a panel interview.
Lord, yeah, they
she
gonna
go
go through
she
a
gonna have
lot.
to come. She gonna have to come on the show. we get
Right, you definitely got to come on the show, sis. Like, do you
uh,
understand what Tuesday is? We don't want to hear it. It's your birthday, okay, but
yeah,
after the show.
right. But you know what? And the crazy part is, I'm really not that bad. And a lot of people, not you, but a lot of people think that the way my everyday version of me, or when I'm conversing or we're having a intellectual discourse, that this is how I
Mhm.
conduct my relationships, and it's quite the opposite. Like, once you got me, you got me. You know what I mean? So much so that I've even been
Yeah,
stupid and should have like
climbing
walked
Mount
away.
Kilimanjaro.
Right. You see, because like you've
Oh
seen, like you
God.
literally watched me and been like, why are you still here? You know what I'm saying? Or going through it. Like, you've seen me be dumb, but it just takes a lot to get me to that space to where I'm open. Not that I'm closed off like that or unwilling. It's just I don't be feeling everybody like that. It's
Hmm.
not, I love hard, I just don't love often. You know what I
Right.
mean? But like when I see her, I'm like, there's been some like a her. Like it's one now. Not now, I mean, one, we're still cool, you know what I'm saying, in contact,
Hmm.
but we often talk about the day we met, because the day we met, I was like, who who are you? I I, I need to know, like, I just met you, but I'm tired of not knowing you.
Mm,
Like, I'm sick of this shit. and I'm
my
not gonna
my.
and I'm not gonna put up with it no more. And it took, like, we knew each other for years before we ever like went out, and then we kicked it, and the vibe was super dope. As a matter of fact, she met my family on a second date. Well, even
So what
though
happened?
long distance.
Oh, I was like, wait, what? What? This
Right.
sounded like fun.
I was actually out here, and then I went to LA and we hung out. And then
Mm,
like vibe was super dope, but then logistically it didn't work out. So
always.
it's always something. And then the ones you do get hit up by, and the ones that's just like the women that be on me, I'm like, like, why I can't get that energy from the ones that I'm on? Like, You know.
Now that is a good question because I feel like I don't know if that's everyone's total experience, but I'm sure everybody's at least experienced that more than once, right? Where it's like
Right.
the people that are interested in me, I'm not really interested in, but the people that I'm interested in uh, may not be interested back, or just, the
It's
situation
some of
doesn't
that,
work
yeah.
out.
It's some of that
So
too.
what do you guys think, that's about? Like, is that that's just something in the
Mm-hmm.
universe? Like, it's just trying to test your endurance. Is it in some cases? I realized some of the things, and I was actually talking to hashtag Boo about that. I was, the thank God that I didn't get some of the things that I like literally prayed for. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the things that we want are just not good for us. Like it might be pleasing to the eye, it might be pleasing in other areas, but it's like this is not, if I'm thinking about the totality of my life or however much time I have left, and we're talking about making up that 100, whether it's 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, like this person's not going to step to the plate for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so some of that is that, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering like what other people think about, I know it's frustrating because and
Look,
you'll be
it's
like, oh dang. And it's not necessarily that the person or people that's interested in you are like bad, it's like, oh, you're cool,
mm-hmm.
but
Yeah. It's
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 not that same
always
enthusiasm that you have for the folks that
right. I
on the
don't
other
know.
side.
Yeah, it's cold game out there, and it's a waiting game, and you got to be patient. But I got too many
Yeah.
people in my life that want me to just pick somebody, and I'm like,
Well, I just think they want you to be at the place that you are happy and that you are with somebody that loves you and that you love. I don't. It comes out like that, but I'm hoping that it's more so like, no, we just, and they're not looking through the same lens that you're looking at. So they're like, oh, it's a pretty girl. She, has a
mhm,
career. She seems nice enough. What's your problem? Right. And you clearly have other markers that
mhm,
you are, looking for. So
right. Her
God
left
bless her.
bicuspid is stained.
I hope that's not it, but it could be. It could be. There could
Nah,
be
but I'll be looking at it every time she open her mouth,
something.
like you don't.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. You got a little
Right,
something.
like what's nah. I don't know. It's just it's real hard to meet someone that you just straight vibe with. You know what I mean? It's like somebody that you just want to see. Like I remember dating somebody. Well, we started. We were like we had a date set up, like our first date, but we was having great phone conversations and stuff.
Hmm.
And then I remember calling her and I was like, hey, like I know we already, planned the date, but I don't want to wait till the end to see you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And then I had said something. I was like, and I was going on a super limb when I said this, but I meant it. I was like, is it possible to miss somebody you never hung out with?
Oh, look at you.
Oh, come on
I'm
now.
gonna
Look, hey,
pour it on. Oh,
bars. But it wasn't a line though. I was legit like because at that point we were talking every day. But now, mind you, it had only been maybe a week and a half, couple of weeks, but just like we were having these super in-depth conversations.
hmm.
And you know me, I love to have a conversation with somebody I don't have to explain shit to.
Hmm.
So it was just like we're having this intellectual discourse and these exchanges, and it's like, yeah, you too, and and I think that's coupled with like you desiring to have that companionship, and now you feel like this is a real possibility.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so that's like where that came from. It's like this is gonna sound weird, but I'm gonna say it anyway. And then when she responds like, yes, she was like, wow, it's funny you say that. Like, I feel that way too. And then you're relieved that someone is taking, what I'm saying, the strangeness out of that feeling and
Hmm.
made your vulnerability okay. and comfort. You know what I'm saying? And you're comfortable, and she's comfortable, and so that just opens up for more exchanges like that. So that was a cool ass experience that didn't work out.
I was like, and then, and then what happened, child?
I have to tell you that one offline.
I'm getting all the disappointment. They all starting here, and then
well, they always start there. They always, that's how you end up talking or dating. It's always up here.
I want them to.
Yeah,
well,
it happens.
It does happen. Well, I was watching yesterday. I was, trying to enjoy my holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the King.
Martin Luther the King.
Yes, the holiday. And so I saw this like special 2020 investigative report on who, so I'm just clicking through. And so after I watched it, they mentioned there was like a podcast. So I turned on the podcast, went, took a shower, whatever, I came out. And hashtag Boo said, why are you always watching or listening to stuff about murder? Because as a matter of fact, why do all of y'all?
Yeah, all that first 48 and crimes, like.
But me in particular, Snapped, Fatal Attraction, those things. That's more relationship based. So that's why he
was concerned, like, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh well, I just like true stories anyway. Like I like documentaries, all that. But yes, true crime is my thing. So he was like, yeah, I want to know why all of y'all seem to watch this murder.
His ass though, he don't want to be on an episode.
Right. I said, oh, you're safe. You good.
October 30th, 2021. It all started. Long Beach, California.
That's the beach. And then,
right. No one ever thought.
And I'm doing my jailhouse interview with my orange on.
To the outside world, they had the perfect marriage. He was an engineer. She was an entrepreneur. They had the perfect life. And then one day.
Yeah, that's how it sounds too.
Right.
And then you got folks chiming in with their interviews. But
y'all black, so y'all would never be like on 2020 or no shit like that.
No.
I got to show you this clip from this comedian that was talking about like the first 48. He was like, it's funny. He was like, because I've never seen it, but he was just describing it. He was like, he was like, it's fucked up because they never used the person's real name on the show.
Oh boy.
And they always find somebody that saw everything. Like he was like, where were you such and such? Or did you see something? He was like, yeah, I was standing right here. He killed him right there.
So you were there the whole 48 hours.
Like
there.
He was like, oh, y'all looking for Cricket. You know him. I've been knowing Cricket for 47 years.
Thank God for the one person that's always looking.
Right. That shit was funny. I gotta send it to you.
My gosh. Well, y'all is kind of quiet. We have a couple of folks that have talked to us a little bit, but for the most part, y'all's quiet. It's quiet. It's okay.
Maybe we was just that engaging. But with the few minutes we have left, I guess we would be remiss if we didn't mention Spitgate.
Oh gosh. So, oh gosh. Let's just let me say.
I'll let you bring this one in.
So, a couple weeks ago, it was actually on our honeymoon, and someone purchased a Kindle version of this book called Crazy Faith, and was like, love for you to read it with me. Let's, kind of discuss. And so I was like, I was familiar with the author, like just in passing, but I was like, let me get on YouTube and kind of watch a couple of videos before I took it to my reading group. And so, as I was watching, of course, hashtag Boo is passing by. So he actually sat down, and watching a couple of messages together. And so then, my reading group decided to actually read this book together. And we actually had our first discussion on Sunday. So, Michael Todd, for those of you who do not know, um, wrote Crazy Faith, also the author of Relationship Goals. If you know the church, Transformation Church in Tulsa, I believe, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, we've been getting pumped, reading this book, having discussions. I have, messages playing just for the past few weeks. I've been, kind of getting ready to lead the discussion, facilitate. And I promise no sooner than we got up and we had a wonderful discussion and folks was crying and it was just like, move of the Lord, okay? Shut everything down on Zoom, sat on the couch and was just like, wow, Lord, that was really good. And I shouldn't have done it, but the first place I found myself was on Twitter. And I'm sitting back and I'm scrolling and I saw, what was it? It was something, but it was like Mike Todd. That's the tweet or something. And I was like, as in Michael Todd? And I'm like, oh God, please. Because the last time I really was following somebody's ministry that wasn't my own pastor in church, they wound up in some scandal, having a kid outside the, all of that stuff. So I was just like,
was it John Gray?
No,
because he been quiet.
Okay. Jamal Bryant. Yeah, that's how long it's taken me a while to step back out and be in somebody else's church. So I'm like, oh God, please. So I go down the rabbit hole, I'm clicking, and they're like, Pastor Mike Todd spits in parishioners. That's how it started. Spits in parishioners' face. I'm like, why would he do that? So then I keep, down the rabbit hole, spits and wipes spit in parishioners' face. I'm like, I think I know what Bible story we're going for, but it didn't quite go like that. As Melody said, wasn't no collector. I'm like, it didn't quite go like that. And also, it's COVID, So the way I was reading the descriptions, I got so grossed out. I didn't want to physically see it, so I did not, go click on it. But my understanding is, of course, the clip that they got. Nobody's, looking at the entire sermon that, he coughed a loogie and proceeded to in this man's face. Yeah, I was just like, oh, that is gross. And so, of course, people are going in and letting him have it. If you saw the clip and you can give us a little more context, go ahead and type it in the chat. I'll put it up on the screen. But I purposely didn't say anything because I have been, posting like, hey, we're starting this group or we're restarting our group if you want to join us, blah, blah, blah. And people did join. And again, we had a great time on Sunday. Even to my group, I was going back and forth about like, do I say anything? But nobody had said anything. On Twitter, it was going down. But in the group, I said, well, shoot, they might not have even seen it. And then today I saw that he had posted a video, Michael Todd himself, posted a video like, yeah, that was out of pocket. I went too far. Sometimes I just, I caught up trying to really teach, like you back in the Bible days, I assume is where he was going with that. But it just was not the best use of our
saliva.
That too. So my thing was, and which is what I posted today, is like, yeah, we can go too far, which clearly that was way too far. He acknowledged it. There is an apology made to the person that he actually put his spit on, because that's really important. I was like, you ain't gotta apologize to me unless,
I mean, dude did stand there and let him do it though. Like,
true, but it was just like,
someone said it was his brother.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't have the validity. Like, so I saw the video posted and I started watching it. And I was just like, I don't know if I can watch him.
Yeah. It was just like, I can't.
Because he spit in his hand more than once. So he like like that slow white spit into his hand, right? And I was like, So, and then all of a sudden it was like, and then he spit into his hand again. So it was just like, I was like, is this about to be a lot of spit? I was like, oh God.
Well, I'm glad I didn't watch it because just your
so I literally have not seen the part where he actually puts the spit on him, like, because I can't unsee it, right?
That is so
and I can't imagine being the dude that's standing there, like
waiting for it.
You can hear him doing it, and I'm kind of, you got in your head. I know dude had to be like, oh hell no, hell no. And you go to this church, so what are people saying? Like, you really let this motherfucker spit on you, bro? Like,
that's what I'm saying. I think the apology to him was,
right.
know,
yeah, and I saw I can appreciate the apology because I saw it and it was sincere. He was like fully accountable. He didn't like explain it away. You know what I'm saying? So full marks for the apology. But then you go on social media, and here's where like, oh, false doctrine. Now it's false doctrine. Now I'm like, come on, y'all.
Yeah, and you gotta not be distracted by that. That's I mean, the first thing I thought was like, first of all, that this even happened right at the top when we're reading this book, but it opens the door for people to go into that mode that you're talking about. Like we talked about,
they needed any motivation,
right? And I think we talked about that with the whole Megan Good and Devon Franklin divorce. It was just like people were like, okay, throw their book out the window, and it's like, well, was what they're talking about not true or not, helpful to somebody just because they're not married anymore? And in this regard, the message that has gone forth and the example of that church and what I've been able to really come to understand about them in the past couple of weeks, I'm like, oh gosh, now unnecessarily under attack for something that, it didn't even need to happen.
People are going people. Pastors is going pastor. It definitely was a lot.
That it sounded like, I was so glad I exercised good judgment. I'm gonna just I'm gonna have to read the descriptions because I can't see that. I'm not. I couldn't even imagine if I was at the church. Like, oh Lord.
Because like I even think about like when I was little and you got something on your face, and my dad used to lick his finger and
I think well, minus the actual spit, but I think like that is in our community. Our people definitely did that. They smoothed the eyebrows, they got crust away from and that wasn't. But today in
and you walk around smelling like somebody else spit.
In 2022, matter of fact, because it's not 2021 anymore.
Right.
In the second year of COVID, that's the thing that got me. I was like, my first thought was, he did that in COVID.
He did that in COVID.
I mean, he should have done that even without COVID. But
right.
On top of that, like, what people are dealing with. You can't be doing that kind of stuff. You should have that person should have had a mask on. So should you.
If you got a mask on, you can't spit in your goddamn hand.
That's right. You would have been to yourself. It would have popped you right back in the lip.
Yeah.
So oh my gosh. But all that to say, I don't false doctrine. I can't pin that.
That was a bit far. Well, we done gave these folks an hour of our life yet again. What's your final thoughts about on today? We went around
my final thought is that I want to wish a early happy birthday to my best friend.
Who, me?
Who has a birthday on Thursday. So, since we won't be here on Thursday, you all, please flood the chat on both Instagram and Facebook and YouTube with happy birthdays to Barzini with a phenomenal, and we wish love on him this year. Okay, whatever it looks like, whatever he wants it to look like, we wish all the love.
I want it to look like peace and I want peace,
and
great
soul.
food, and
Okay.
great sex.
Well, we wish you all of those things. You are most deserving.
I'm just saying. I'm just
We gotta
saying.
get your
No.
brother on here to tell us some stories, child.
Oh, hell no. Listen, let me tell you something about my brother. He probably still watching. He is the person that I trust with my life more than anyone on earth. However,
There's
he is
always
the
a however.
person I trust the least to not embarrass me with something that I don't want the world to know.
Oh yeah.
So, like our discussion or like my post, everything comes at a cost.
There's a caveat. That's
So,
so true.
while I believe I have the greatest big brother in the world, no, I
No,
don't want him to.
no, no.
No,
Don't let him in. Don't you let him in.
like he's so bad. He's so bad. I literally have to be rabbit this nigga
Oh,
just to stay ahead of the. Like I have to tell people shit about myself that I think he's going to say just to take the sting off of it. So I can be like, okay, and that happened. Okay, I peed the bed. So what? Now
oh,
they already know. Because so let me tell you how he can get into your soul. When we
oh,
were younger, he had
oh,
this
oh.
laugh. No, he had this laugh that it's the most irritating shit. It's the most irritating, antagonizing, fucked up laugh. It's like a mix between a tea kettle and letting the air out of a balloon when you pull the so it make that squeaky sound.
Oh wow.
So this is what he
Nice.
no, because this is what he does. This is what he'll do. When he feels you getting irritated or angry or out your character, right? He tries to hold on and let you know that he's laughing, but it starts super faint and super low and quiet, but super high pitched, right? And it goes like this. Hold up, you can't make me laugh. Let me. So you over there, let's say we playing video games and I'm losing and I'm over there getting mad and shit, right? And
Mhm.
cussing it out and ready to throw shit. This motherfucker goes like this. He's playing. He's like, and it just gets louder and louder to where he's on his full.
Oh my lord.
Right. It's the worst shit ever. Like it's, and then he just bust out into obnoxious laughter. And all you want to do is fight. Like you can't even laugh at how funny his laugh is. You just because then if it's around other people, his laugh makes other people laugh, and you're the only one not laughing
I
because you.
laugh.
And now everyone's laughing, and you're like legit and already mad, and now you're even more mad because you're getting laughed at for being mad. I'm getting mad thinking about it, and it hasn't
I was
happened for
like, I think
years.
this was the opposite of what I was going for. So, uh,
So
happy birthday
right,
in
yeah,
advance.
and we will not have my brother on this
And
show
we
to
will
tell
not. We'll
stories.
leave him in the comments.
But I love you, bro. I love you. You know,
Yes.
like he's
Well,
a.
were those your final thoughts?
It's gonna have to be because I don't know how I come back from that. You know what? Thank God for another year,
Amen.
another solo rotation. All those things that I'm
Amen.
supposed to say. You know, I'm grateful for another grand rising. I hate
Grand
grand rising.
Rising.
Grand rising.
And
No,
he's gonna put up a post for you all to put your comments under. Don't try to make your own post.
yeah.
Use
Well,
his
you
post
can't
to
because
say.
my
Yeah,
page is
no. Well,
closed.
don't think you're
So
gonna make your own post because it won't happen.
I'm gonna say this is it. This is the post.
This is it. Have
Right.
mercy.
All right, y'all.
Well,
Well, we love y'all for hanging out with us. This has been another great episode. Thank y'all for who joined us on IG, on Facebook, on YouTube, and our Facebook community, and everywhere else that you're watching or listening to the show. This is the Crossroads podcast, and as always, in closing, remember,
be
be
free
free
to
to
be
be
you.
you. We'll see y'all later.
Peace.